if you want to if you want to be a playboy and it's hard if you're named Jerry Falwell, but if you take on the role of being president of Liberty University, it seems to me that implicit in that is is presenting an image that is consistent with those values, especially in public. Like I would say putting something on Instagram is public. It seems to me like Jerry Falwell wants to be like a cool, rich guy who like has fun and is kind of a celebrity more than the president of a university that happens to be a very, religious school.
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right. I think you're absolutely right. I think that's a lot of what that's a lot of the criticism that those of us who have been calling for him to step aside, step down, or at least massively reform the way that he's acting would that I think that's a case that we would make. It's kind of an interesting phenomenon. I think he's a great example of Yuval Levin in his most recent book talks about institutions no longer being able to really shape and mold the people who make them up, such that they become a servant of the institution, feel like they have an obligation to the institution itself to do right by it. Instead, a lot of people see institutions as a platform for their own advancement, their own aims. Think like congressmen who are more interested in cable hits than actual legislation. And I think that's really what kind of has happened with Jerry. He has been near power. There are stories about in football recruitment dinners, he would, step away from the table to pick up a call from the president of the United States to praise him on a CNN hit. And I think, getting near that power, it has a corrupting influence. It makes you more drawn to do the things that come with that power. It's kind of, I think David French recently wrote an article that was basically saying, Jerry Falwell's values and mores seem to be moving closer to Donald Trump's than Donald Trump's are moving closer to, kind of the values of Liberty University. And I think that's an interesting take. I think, the oft misunderstood Lord Acton quote, "Power corrupts, absolute power corrupts absolutely." He wasn't talking about the Pope, which is the power he was referring to. He was talking about all of the, functionaries around him and what being near and in the proximity to power does to them. And I think that's really kind of what has happened with Jerry. I don't think he's interested in doing the job of a university president anymore. I think he's interested in being a political activist and in being, a minor celebrity. We see a lot of people fall to that temptation, and I think that's really more or less what's going on.